what up, everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas.
And I'm T-Bone.
And we're coming at you with another video today where we're going to be doing our conference championship round bracket. This is where we will do a bracket that goes through the rest of the playoffs, of course. Only 3 games left, so only 3 games to predict. This will be the last week we do this because no point in doing a bracket for just the Super Bowl game. But with that being said, let's jump into it. I will be going first, in case you couldn't tell by my name across the screen. So let's make it happen. So, first things first, look at the conference championship game. We have the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think that the Ravens will get the job done against Kansas City, get the win, and move on to Super Bowl 58. And so then if we move over to the other conference championship, we have the Lions and the 49ers playing in Santa Clara for a trip to the Super Bowl. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a close one. Both teams playing really well. Both teams, I think, pretty evenly matched. But I think San Francisco is going to sneak on by and move on to the Super Bowl. And so, Super Bowl 58 taking place in Las Vegas. I've got the Ravens taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And I think that the Baltimore Ravens will win against the 49ers for the second time this year, destroyed them earlier in the season, brought Purdy 4 interceptions. I don't think Purdy's going to have that bad of a performance, but I still think Baltimore is going to make it happen and win the Super Bowl. Alrighty, that should wrap my bracket up. Now we're going to move on to T-Bone. T-Bone, take it away.
Thanks so much, Vegas. Let's get into this, shall we? Alright. So, starting off with the AFC, we've got the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Chiefs in B-More, and I've got the Ravens handedly beating the Chiefs and going on to Super Bowl 58 where's that? It's Las Vegas.
Vegas.
It's Las Vegas, yeah.
Yes,
Yep,
it's my
Vegas.
namesake.
Funny. And then next year's NOLA. And going to the NFC, well, we've got the Lions going to Santa Clara, and they're going to duke it out, 49ers and Lions, for a trip to the Super Bowl. And despite, maybe some murmurs about the 49ers beating the Lions, I have the Detroit Lions actually beating the San Francisco 49ers and going to Super Bowl 58 in Vegas with the Ravens. That being said, I think that's where their fun ends, and I've got the Ravens beating the Lions. I mean, come on, are we going to say that the Lions beat the Ravens? Listen here, they have some fun. They can't. No, that's too much. Too much.
Alrighty, that's going to wrap up our brackets now. Obviously, the big difference between us is you had the Lions beating the 49ers. The Lions are a good football team. They definitely can. It's like I said, Lions-49ers feels very 50-50. Either team could win it. Chiefs-Ravens feels a little less so. As of right now, it feels like it's the Ravens to lose. If they lose either of their final 2 games, they will not look good, especially since they blew out both Detroit in San Francisco earlier in the season. They've proven not only they can beat them, but absolutely dominate them. So, definitely feels like it's Baltimore's to lose. But why do you have the Lions beating the 49ers? What's your justification for that?
I'll tell you exactly why. I just think that they are going to come into this game and they're going to want it more. I think Shanahan has gone to this game plenty of times before, and is just, I don't want to say doesn't value the moment as much, but I think that that it's just going to be another game to the San Francisco 49ers. As bad as that sounds, and I don't want to paint the 49ers that way because obviously this is a trip to the Super Bowl. But the 49ers for the foreseeable future, as long as they keep most of their pieces, they're always going to be contending. They're always going to be on something. This is the first time the Lions have been here. Been here in 30 years. Over 30 years even. And I just think Dan Campbell just is. I think this is a more impactful moment for the Lions, and they really want it. Um, and besides the fact that the moment is different for these two different teams, um, I think that the Lions have more momentum. I think the 49ers have kind of sputtered a little bit because this was their first game of the playoffs last week. So when you saw how they played against Green Bay, they won, but it was a guaranteed win only after Jordan Love decided to embody his grandfather Brett Favre. Um, so I think the Lions. I mean, their team is great, special teams, um, defense, offense, great stuff. I mean, the 1-2 punch of Gibbs and Montgomery, the great passing attack with Sam Laporta. Um, and Amon-Ra. And I mean, I've took a look at Laporta last week. Good, just a great guy, just a great rookie. You could not tell he was a rookie. So,
Well, he's the best tight end in the league this year, at least in terms of receiving production. He was great.
it was amazing. So, and Jared Goff has been here before. Jared Goff has been in this moment before. He's ready. He's ready to do it. Um, and I don't know about the spotlight from Brock Purdy, but because last year he was injured, but um, I just think I just got the Lions upsetting them because I think it's not going to be a blowout. Both teams are good enough to really compete and fight for this. This is really the NFC Championship is going to be a slugfest. I think a shootout even. So, but I've just got the Lions. I think they're stylistically. I want the 49ers because even though I made fun of you for saying this exact point off camera, Vegas, the 49ers Ravens Super Bowl would look way better. I mean, it pairs with the logo. Coincidence? I don't know. Um, the Lions Ravens, just like looks wise, would not look as good, but just I don't know. I guess with all those points, I just point to the Lions. I'm like, I think you can do it. I don't think you'll crack under pressure. I think you've got this. A little quick stat actually, just before I let you take over. The last time that the Lions were in the NFC Championship, Joe Gibbs was the Redskins coach, and he won the Super Bowl that year. So, and beat the Bills. I think it was the second or third time that the Bills got beat in a Super Bowl in a row. I can't remember, but that it's just it's. I mean, I've seen some stats. I mean, it's just insane how long it's been since the Lions have won a playoff game and two been to the NFC Championship.
Well, you talked about how the Niners have been here before, and so it's going to be less of a moment for them. I have two things to say to that. Number one, I would think that experience being this far in the playoffs would go a long way, and I think it's a big reason why the Chiefs have had so much success as of late is just that they have experience in the big moments, you know? And number two, you got to feel like this is a very motivated 49ers team. Just given how unfortunate they were with injuries last year, they weren't actually given a chance to show what they can do. They weren't really given a fair chance to actually try to punch their ticket to the Super Bowl just based purely off of bad luck. So not only do I think them having more experience is going to be more beneficial, but I also think that they're actually going to be more motivated because of what happened last year. So I actually think I'm taking your point and flipping it on its head. I think that's going to be the case. Now, obviously, the Lions have tons of motivation. They're the Detroit Lions. This is a team that, I mean, just before this season hadn't won a playoff game since the 90s. It's a long, long time. You know, they've been a poverty franchise. They don't know in 16 season. And so, like, obviously, this is a franchise that's completely reinvigorated and, you know, really, really happy to be where they are and have a lot to play for. And they know opportunities don't come by that often. So they're going to have that motivation for sure. But I think the experience of the 49ers is going to be key. And I think Jared Goff is going to be able to bring that experience to this Lions team. That's the one thing that he offers is that level of experience operating a championship-level offense, even though he really lost the game against the Saints, but the referees had other ideas. You know how it goes. I mean, and to be fair, though, that the Saints were the best team in the league that year. Like, full stop. They were the best team in the entire NFL. They should have gone to the Super Bowl and probably should have won the Super Bowl. And I was really, 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 really hoping to see Brady versus Breeze for a Super Bowl. That would have been epic. But instead we got Belichick versus the Rams, because the reason that Super Bowl was boring is because Belichick's the greatest coach of all time. His defensive game plan was absolutely brilliant. But regardless, the experience for the Lions does come from Jared Goff, and it's at the quarterback. You know, it's at the helm. So that's obviously a good thing for them. That's something you want if you're Detroit, especially to take such a young team, a team that doesn't get here very often. So, you know, there's multiple different ways to look at it. I think both teams are going to be incredibly motivated. I don't know why the 49ers wouldn't be motivated at an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. And the other thing, too, is you talked about how if the 49ers keep their guys, they'll be good for a long time. The thing with San Francisco is they're in cap hell next year. Like, their cap situation is not good, and it's largely due to putting together the teams that they have for the last few years. Because at the end of the day, you know, you got to pay the devil his due.
They better thank their lucky stars that they have to pay 6 digits to Brock Purdy.
Yeah, that's the other big thing too. A big reason why these teams is because Shanahan is valued everywhere else except quarterback, and then tried to go for the discount option at quarterback. And let's be honest, the 49ers lucked out with Brock Purdy in a big way. If Brock Purdy did not work out, this franchise, they would still be good. They'd still make the playoffs just because they're that good of a squad, but they would not be where they are. That's just a fact. You know. So, but to me, it actually feels like this is really the last good opportunity for San Francisco to win a Super Bowl, just because
their window is closing.
Their cap situation next year. So, and for me, the Lions is a little more open. Now, obviously, competition next year is going to be stiff because the Packers are going to get better. The Rams probably going to get better. Eagles will have to wait and see. You know, the Buccaneers, on the up and up. We'll see what happens with the Atlanta Falcons. You know, we'll see what happens with the Seattle Seahawks. Like, there's a lot of teams that look like they could have very promising futures. You know? And so it's gonna be tough. It's tough to make it this far, even for a team as good as Detroit is, and even if they get better next year, it's still going to be very, very difficult to go this far in the playoffs, to win football games, and win a Super Bowl. Because it's hard for everyone to do it. You have to go through the best of the best. And you got to go through some pretty good teams who are going to throw the kitchen sink at you. So, I mean, you saw that with Green Bay and Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, like, that's just going to be how it is. Winning is hard. Winning is very, very hard. It's why what the Chiefs have been doing, unfortunately, and what the Patriots did for 2 decades was so impressive. It's hard to do it in 1 year, let alone consistently. The Patriots went to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years, and the year they didn't make it, they lost by 2 to the eventual Super Bowl champions in the conference championship round. That's an incredibly difficult level of success to sustain. Again, winning 1 Super Bowl is hard. Look at the Rams. The Rams won a Super Bowl. The next year, they were one of the worst teams in the entire NFL. Staying good consistently is hard, even for teams with bright futures. So this is going to be the
Injuries
best
did riddle
opportunity.
them, though.
Injuries definitely hurt them last year, but they still also just weren't that good. So, although if you have to, I guess if you have to bring in Baker Mayfield out of the middle of nowhere to win you a football game without knowing a single thing. The Rams were pretty injured last year, but that still proves my point. Even if they were hurt, they weren't successful. They were not successful. The one year that Tom Brady got hurt was 2008. They'd just come off of 2007 lost in the Super Bowl to the Giants, blowing an opportunity for the perfect season. And by blowing, I mean Asante Samuel, nice hands, and hey, referee, where's the offensive hold? Also, can we check his helmet for illegal substances, please? Sorry, I'm never, ever, ever going to get over that Super Bowl loss. Brady goes down. Castle comes in. They won 11 games. The only reason they didn't make the playoffs is because of bad luck. Plain and simple. 11-5 is normally a guarantee for the playoffs. They just got really unlucky that year. So in my mind, they still achieved a level of success greater than most would. You saw the Rams, Stafford goes down, a lot of other guys go down. They sucked last year. The Ravens are a team who the team that we are seeing this year is the team that they've had for the last couple of years, but healthy. But because of injuries, they just couldn't sustain success. Even through injuries, you got to sustain success. Like Super Bowl 51, that whole run, they didn't have Gronk. They had to be successful without one of their key playmakers. That's what it took. And that just goes to show how difficult success is. Winning in 1 year is hard. Winning consistently over the course of multiple years is almost impossible. That's why very few teams actually do it. It's why you see so much turnover in the playoffs every single year. You look at how last year was going. In what universe were the Houston Texans going to make the playoffs this year? No one thought that. But that's how success changes in the league. You could have good fortune, you could have bad fortunes. For all we know, next year the Texans could be the worst team in the entire NFL. Because that's how the game goes. Winning is hard. And I think all 4 of these teams know it. And I think there are some teams who are going to relish the opportunity they have and try to take it. Because they might not get another chance. T-Bone, you got any final thoughts?
No, sir.
Alrighty then. That is going to wrap things up for us. Please be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. We would love to hear what you all have to say. And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And we will see you all in the next video.